time Sama Audit brings this webinar series, Chief Auditor series, Satish and I jointly decided that if we have presentations, short presentations and interview with chief auditors, regulators, academicians, then we will have an ecosystem. There is an ecosystem in internal audit, which needs to be brought out to all those who are interested in internal audit. So they can just go online and view these videos and learn from these. And there are a lot of learnings which are coming out from different speakers, different shades of learnings which are coming out.
The idea of this Chief Auditor series is to get in the best of the best in the industry, all stakeholders, be it academicians, be it chief auditors, be it all kinds of stakeholders in this. And who better than a person who can get everyone on their feet, as the brand Metro talks about, and none other than Manoj Agarwal with us today. Yeah, Deepji.
I'll formally introduce Manoj to you. So Manoj Agarwal is a leading internal audit and risk management, heads the leading internal audit and risk management department of one of India's largest specialty footwear retailers. He has over 20 years of experience in delivering assurance and advisory services to management in retail, facility management, BFSI, manufacturing industries. He has aligned his internal department with professional standards and management expectations. Prior to this, he was heading internal audit and risk management of Indian operations of ISS. He has had commendable positions, really commendable positions, I would say, Coast Director for ERM for ICAI in 2010 and Committee of Members of Industry of WRC. Currently, he is a member of International Internal Audit Standards Board of IAA USA. So he's actually sitting as a volunteer leader on the IAA International Board. He writes blog on risk and control, which is available on LinkedIn. And I think maybe at the end, he can just type in where people can log on and look at his blogs, which are published by ISACA and IA also. He's a fellow chartered accountant, diploma in information systems audit, DISA from ICAI, certified internal auditor, certification in risk management assurance from Institute of Internal Auditors, certified information systems auditors. So I think that's a lot, but he has given a very short bio. So I think much more, currently he's also looking at the trainings program for IA in India and so on. So, a lot of responsibilities, but he's just given a very short bio, a lot of good credentials in terms of a solid academic record and also a solid work experience. Over to you, Manoj.
Thanks, Deepji. Thanks, Satish. So just give me a second. Let me put my presentation.
Deepji, is there a black spot coming in front of Manoj?
No, I think he has a screen behind him. So.
Oh, is it? There's some black line that I can see.
No.
No? Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes, Manoj, we can see your presentation.
Yeah, great. Thanks. So Deepji has already shared my profile, so I will skip this slide. The most important thing, my personal risk management. All the contents of this presentation are information that I'm sharing. This represents my view. They do not represent my employers, my supervisors, or the organization, business institution.
Manoj, just a small request. Can you please speak little loudly so that the video comes out very clear?
Okay. So all the contents of this presentation constitute my opinion, and they do not present the views and opinion of my employers, my supervisor, and institution with whom I'm associated with. So a brief about Metro Branch Limited. This gives you an idea. So Metro Branch Limited, they have brick and mortar showrooms. We also present in shop format. We have online channel. We have our own e-commerce websites. We are also present in marketplaces. You will find us on Flipkart, Myntra, Snapdeal, etc. We also have franchisee models where we have open shops. We have given franchisee. We also sell the third-party brands. We are presently in domestic market only. We do imports. We have a joint venture. We have a subsidiary, and we have pan-India operations. So this gives you the depth and the breadth of the kind of operations or challenges that an internal audit of a retail company need to tackle on heads on. The next slide is very interesting. Any standard which the best practices evolves into standards, and then standards need to be adopted to suit your environment. So this is the Metro Branch Limited's internal control framework. So you will see there is an oversight by the board. There is a management control. Some of you will be finding that where is the second line of defense, which is the risk management. But in Metro, we have adopted, see, we are non-banking, so we are non-financial institution. So we have adopted the second line as is a fungible line, a fungible pillar. So some of things in the first line, some of things in the second line. We also have our external independent auditor who sometimes don't listen to us. Then we have a Big Four external auditor and regulators. So this shows that we are following the 3 lines of model, and at the same time we have adopted to our use to suit our environment.
Right.
So what we do everything that we are supposed to do in terms of be it internal audit. In internal audit, we review the various processes, risk management. We conduct the risk workshop, risk awareness session. We do certain contract reviews to ensure that the risks are getting minimized. We also scan the environment for the various changes. Since the time the IFC become implemented, IFC is the Indian parlance, the Indian equivalent of SOX. We are doing that. We are scanning the environment for changes, whether those changes pertains to laws, some fraud happening within the industry, outside the industry, risk, the changes introduced by the budget. The idea is this allows us to be prepared for the new challenges, new issues. We do pre and post implementations, review of new policy, new process systems. So whenever we roll out any new policy, our process, our system, we get involved at the design phase. We give input on the risk and control. Once those policies, processes are rolled out, we review them after say 1 to 3 months to ensure that the objective behind rolling out of this new policy process systems are being met. We also conduct pre-audits of a large portions of the organization's operations. We do compliance reviews and we do conflict of interest reviews. So here in conflict of interest review, we see that we do some specific checks to ensure that the employees of the company, when they are working for the company, they are working wholeheartedly, and there is no conflict of interest vis-a-vis all the disclosure which is required to be disclosed. They are disclosing it, and they don't have any outside ventures. So, when I've been approached, then I had a huge dilemma that before me, there are great speakers, great internal auditors who have come and shared their practices. What I'm supposed to share, okay, how to create audit plans or how to do internal audit. So it has really given me a huge headache. Then I decided that let me share what is our philosophy behind what we do. So when I've joined, my chairman has given me a simple mandate, no surprises. And I was saying, what does it mean? Then over the years, I realized that it means each and everything. It means we need to be nimble. What is being nimble means? In retail industry, it is a fast changing industry. The things, it is very fast. If you have any leakage anywhere or a potential of leakage anywhere, the moment somebody discover it, you can hit with the big losses. So you need to be very nimble, be ready to change your internal audit plans, looking at the current environment, current needs of the organization. don't be complacent. Now, this is a huge risk to everyone. So being, what does mean by complacent? So we may be doing something, but at the same time, we cannot be taking easy on our past achievement. So just like a fashion design, your design is as relevant as today. So you may be doing fantastic, but if you are not selling today, you will not be there tomorrow. So we need to be complacent. We need to be thinking what we need to do next. Have ears to the ground. So as an internal auditor, we are supposed to do a root cause analysis. And how we are going to do root cause analysis? We need to do that root cause analysis by listening to everyone, all the stakeholders who are involved. Because at the end of the day, the sale is done by the showroom manager at the showroom where you are not present, and it's a retail. You need to customize. It's a mass customization for each and everything, be it design, be it service. So what we are selling, sometimes we says we don't sell shoes, we sell services. And customer comes to us in spite of having an option to go somewhere else because they know they will get the service from us. So we need to listen to all stakeholders to understand root causes. And all my listeners, this is something, it has made me humble again and again when I discuss some issues with my showroom managers, with my other stakeholders, the kind of challenges they are facing. Only by listening to them, you will arrive at a right solution which is applicable or fit for your organization. You need to ask questions. Now, as an internal auditor, you need to not only ask questions, you need to ask right questions. If you ask right questions, you will be able to discover the right issues. But if you ask questions, you will get certain, I would say, textbook replies. Here, customer is God. For the organization, customer is God. For internal auditor, all their process owners, function head, they are the customer, they are God. So we believe that they are working for the company. So we need to trust that they are doing something good. At the same time, we need to be vigilant. So, so we need to solve their issues. Trust but verify. Now, this is very, very important. So who's on the shop floor? Our salesman, showroom manager, people on the field. So they would be facing challenges in retail industry. The challenge is very simple: listen to customer or lose the business. And this allows it requires us to do mass customization. At the same time, we need to be also vigilant that this mass customization, mass utilization has a potential to misuse. Our chairman says internal audit has all power, and with power come responsibility. So if we have all power, then we have all responsibility. We need to ensure that each and everything which is supposed to be checked, they are getting checked, they are getting audited. Now, process adherence does not mean all is well. Now, in spite of following the right process to the T, the process may not be resulting into the right output. So we need to do the sanity test. We need to do the common sense. I will just take an example. A three quotation. Just because three quotation is coming does not mean that the process is working right.
Okay.
So audit each and everything and always. Now, if you go to any seminar, you will find that every leader in the industry, they are saying that the days of sample audit has gone. What we need to do today is to do 100%. Now, how to do this 100%, that is something each one need to discover for their own organization, but they need to do 100%. And for retail industry, it is a volume driven. It's a volume driven. So we need to do audit each and everything. You just name it: the purchases, the dispatches, the sale, the loyalty points, so the showroom, various types of you lose focus on a single thing, I can give you in writing, you are going to face issues. Of course, if you are not facing issues, that means something grossly wrong, which is what is happening. You know, so in internal auditor, the thing is, if you are getting everything correct, everything, no issues you are finding, that means that something is going wrong. If nothing is going wrong in controls, then your business is going wrong. So Satish, I don't know how much time I have taken, but this comes to the my end of the, I would say, what we do.
Well, short and sweet. I think very
Perfect.
presentation. But what we can do is we can ask you two more questions. So we have the
Yes.
option, because we have
Yes,
some time where Satish is the first one to go. Satish.
yes, yes, yes.
I would say ask 4 questions.
Yes, 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 yes. In fact, I think this is exactly 19 minutes and 30 seconds. So you have actually hit the nail on the head, because we were thinking of a 20-minute lecture, and you are the first person who has completed it bang, bang, bang on time. So kudos to you. So Manoj, interesting it was, as the way, I expected it to be, because, whenever I hear you talk, you always talk jara hatke se. So that's how I always, get excited when I'm there up there to hear Manoj. My first question to you, Manoj, is that, see, I have also been with the IA Bombay, and I've, not gone further. I didn't take part too much into IA India activities. But you have gone 2 steps ahead. You have taken your professional development so much to heart that you got very lovely roles, very envious roles, if you ask me personally, in the IA Inc. Tell us something about that experience, because there'll be many youngsters who are, wanting to follow you, Manoj. So just give us a brief about how you went about it, and you can talk whatever you feel.
So Satish, you need to always take the first step. I would say a number of people, they are hesitant taking the first step. Now, so first, thank you for telling me that I have gone 2 steps ahead. See, in India is an ocean of talent. There are hundreds of people who are more talented, more experienced, I would say more sharper than me. But I would say somehow, for whatever reason, they have not taken the first step. The first step is to apply. Now, I have taken the first step, and with the success that I got, it has pushed me to take, I would say, more first steps in different dimension. So I have taken the first step of applying for the global committees. And I still remember that when I applied first, somehow I don't know whether they love India or because of India population, they decided to invite me. And it's a wonderful experience. You got exposed to so many different ideas. At the same time, it also requires you to leave behind your preconceived notions. You need to go with the open mind, see, listen, understand, and think it over. It gives you totally different perspective that the things are so volatile, so different, so unique in each country, each industry. The more you able to appreciate the differences, the more you realize that uh, you're not in college, you're not in school, maybe you're in nursery.
Wow.
And that enables you to learn.
Uh, very nice. I mean, we got a perspective of this, and I'm sure many youngsters who are listening to this telecast will definitely want to, emulate you, Manoj. And I'm sure they'll reach out to you. Please help them, because this is, I think, our job as senior leaders is to make sure that the profession lives far, far higher than each one of us. Manoj, if I can request you to please close the presentation, then we'll get a better screen view. Yeah, Deepji, your next question.
Before I ask a question, I have just two things to add, since this is a conversation. uh, 15 years back, I was the first one to take the first step and apply to Academic Relations Committee, IIA Florida. And I was selected, as Manoj rightly said, they wanted somebody from India, a populous country maybe, so they selected. And as he rightly said, it's a wonderful experience, multi-geography, multiculture. You learn such a lot. So as Manoj has rightly pointed out, all internal auditors or most of them should apply, should try to get, if they have that willingness, if they have the time available, if they are willing to contribute to the profession, they should, for personal development as well as for the development of the profession, they should go on and apply to IIA Florida. There are a number of committees, whichever committee you like. It's a self-nomination, so you can just nominate yourself, with your credentials, and they will look at you and take you. That's number one. Number two, Manoj, a beautiful slide which you have presented, just as Satish said, Jara Hatke, because that one slide, is a philosophy which is very dear to almost all the CEOs or managing directors of companies, which cannot capture, what you have captured in that one slide is what is the essence of internal audit sort of thing. And one statement which you said, trust but verify. So I remember almost 30 years back, there was a placard, there was a plug on the desk of a chief internal auditor of a FMCG company, which said, in God we trust, rest we audit. So, it was just bringing back those memories. Coming back again to the presentation, Manoj, you rightly said that you look after the risk management part, the pre and post, audits, external auditors, your own process auditing, continuous monitoring, effort to make continuous monitoring happen. Stores are there in formats, different formats across the country. A lot of things are happening in the stores. So how does the internal audit, and the motto for the internal department, as you rightly said, is no surprise, coming directly from the top. So with so many things happening in the marketplace across the country, how do you manage the risk, the statutory compliances, and the any frauds or leakages, etc.? How is it is all managed so there is no surprises, or the element of surprise goes down? You cannot say that there is no surprise at all, because things will go wrong when you are working, when anybody works, when we are doing anything, things will go wrong. So how do you minimize the element of surprise, and how are you able to manage with your department to make that happen? Risk management, compliances, and revenue protection.
So let me start with the easiest thing, the compliances. So what we have done is we have implemented a compliance management tool, and while implementing it, we have consistently decided what we want to monitor it. And our board comprises of numerous independent directors, and they are very cautious and concerned about the compliances in general. And our management says that we need to comply, and we need to make sure that we are 100% compliant at all times. So, of course, in India, 100% compliant and all times and in time sometimes become a challenge, but that is where the beauty lies. So on one hand, we have this compliance management tool which allows us to monitor various compliances at central level. At the same time, we have, our various process owners for respective compliances, be it HR, be it finance, be it indirect taxes, who are supposed to monitor their compliances. What we have done, we have made them responsible. Every month, they are supposed to publish a report on the various compliances pertaining to within their department to management. And of course, at the same time, they need to also update into the compliance management tool. On compliance management tool, the things would be whether you're complying or not. But if anything else is there, any other story behind is there, so that get conveyed into this monthly compliance report, which various stakeholders they need to do it. Now, being a pan-India operations, we have also tied up with the various agencies to help us ensure compliances at the ground level. And most importantly, we have held the person responsible for compliance activity to ensure that the activity carries out. In case they have any challenges, they need to communicate to their respective function owner or face consequences of not informing the same. Uh, in terms of the fraud, so there are fraud or revenue leakages. Now, for us, I would say let's take the brick and mortar model. The two of the most important commodity there is our inventory and the money. So the money, almost all retail chain has the policy that the money need to be deposited next day and it get monitored. Now we have, I'm not sure I'm the only one, but what we have made is mandatory that, see, there are numerous challenges. Uh, for example, they go to the bank is not able to take the deposit. Now, some of you may be thinking, why bank is not able to take deposit? It is their function. But every bank, they also have their own cash insurance. They are not supposed to collect money more than that limit. If you are late, then they are not going to accept that deposit with you. So in such kind of scenario, people are supposed to call up our head office, take permission, inform them the reasons why it is happening. Now, why I'm able to tell you this thing? Because we know this is the problem. And if somebody is facing this problem, it means they have went to the bank a little late. So if they went to the bank a little late, unless they have some genuine reason, if genuine reason is fine, otherwise we'll levy a penalty on them. So once somebody faces a penalty, so that person ensures that does not happen in future. And in case this thing happens in future, this person will not be there in the organization. This is simply a non-tolerable non-compliance. Now, when we give our inventory to our showroom manager is on commission basis. So they need to take the utmost care of the inventory. We say, you need to give us the MRP of the product, our product in good condition. If neither thing is happening, they are personally responsible to pay the damages or pay the losses. So this take care of the let's say the risk on the fraud. Of course, it does not mean, there are hundreds of people working in the store, so you will always have some ifs and buts. But that is where we come into the picture. We monitor things at a central level. We our various functions, they keep visiting the showroom and see it. We also have an informal system of informal network, so who keeps telling us what is happening and which allow us to take some preemptive action. And we made sure that our ground level people knows that at center level we monitor each and everything. And when we raise queries, when we are raising queries, when you have to raise write queries, so that they know that they are actually monitoring it at the central level. Now, on the online model, now it's everything is controlled from the central side. So we need to be, we know what cannot go wrong, but at the same time, online medium is always a medium where anyone can play any mischief, who may not be coming to your store. So what we have done, we have created exception reports. We monitor those reports. And we have also given that reports to our operations. So they generate that report on a daily basis. We also keep monitoring the various algorithms to ensure that they are working as intended.
Just one ancillary question, just one subsequent question to what you've said. In this particular function which you have internal audit, usually some companies, like pharmacies or FMCGs and other companies where they have got a lot of formats and distribution network, they have a separate loss prevention department. So is there a separate loss prevention department in your company, or it is handled by internal audit only?
No, so we have a separate loss prevention department who's responsible to go to the store and do the physical count, cash count at a certain frequency. But at the same time, that department and internal audit both collectively and separately. monitor the performance. For example, we want our showroom manager to do, let's say a certain frequency, the self count. So they are monitoring it, and we are monitoring that they are monitoring it, and they are levying penalty if they are, for any such non-adherence.
Great.
So you spoke about conflict of interest reviews. I think this is something which has come out very unique, in all the presentations and even as a concept for me as well. So this, can you elaborate a bit? I know you said a few lines about it when you were speaking about conflict of interest, but can you dive a little deeper into this, please?
So some of the obvious reviews would be, for example, our review of loyalty. Now we says that our employees are not eligible to be part of the loyalty operation, especially the showroom people. We give 4% point 4% of the sale value as the point, which is one of the highest, if not the highest, uh, in the entire retail operations. Now this 4%, a sale of 100,000 rupees, the 4,000 rupees, 4% point. Now for you and me, it would be a normal amount, but for somebody who's working as it's a fantastic
Full
amount.
amount. Yeah.
So we keep monitoring, this thing, whether any of our employee is being part of our loyalty operations, whether any other contact number, whichever they have submitted, it has been updated in the system, so that they are getting blocked. And we also review the frequency of transaction. Based on that frequency of transaction for a showroom, for a channel, we look at, is there any something odd which is happening, plus a new employee has joined that particular channel. One of the things we do is, this is I've learned from somebody. So one of the thing what we are doing is, we have our employees PAN number with us. So we go on the GST portal and see whether they are, whether they are doing, whether any GST number is registered against them. Then we keep running the PAN number and the GST number comparison of our vendors at a frequency, to see that whether anyone is directly or indirectly linked with our vendor. When we do that, along with the PAN number, mobile, email, which is usual suspects, we keep running that thing, and which we running it on a continuous frequency.
Yes,
I will just share one case. In one case, what we have identified, we identified there are two vendors, though they were external vendors. They are having the same addresses, and when we inquired that, the person said, "No, I am the only one who is selling. I don't have any other thing." Now he could have simply said, "Hey, I have two companies with whom I'm giving it to you." This. So if you are informing us, I have two companies, I can decide whether I want to do business with you or not. But if you are not informing, that means there is, I would say, conflict of interest is there.
Yeah, Devji.
So I think, Manoj, you've talked about this interactions with the distribution chain, and with this, how is your interaction? Can you just throw some light on your interaction with your top management and with audit committee? How does that work? Upward communication. Do you have special reports which go out, or you don't? Do you have only quarterly reviews which happen, or do you have some places we talked about where the pre-audit? One of the chief internal auditors talked about a pre-audit committee meeting where the audit committee chairman or audit committee chair spent the whole day with the internal audit team. So how does it work? Your upward communication to your senior stakeholders, like your audit committee and your top management separately.
So I think see, let me talk in terms of FaceTime. So see, we do a daily huddle every day in the morning, where all the department head is there. So including our CEO, CFO, CEO, all CXOs. So that gives a FaceTime with them. Of course, we are free to raise any issues uh, which is stuck, which is creating a issue. Then every month we have our same meeting, but in a slightly more in a longer duration and a structured format where we run certain items, where one of the item is always compliances and certain stuck issues. Every month we do the management do is the, the the operations review for the showrooms or for a channel where we are feel free to come. So it's an open invitation. We can go there, understand what is happening. Every quarter, there is an audit committee meeting where whatever work we have done in terms of process reviews, we need to present it to the audit committee. Before any audit committee, we have a separate meeting to discuss all the issues so that there is a clarity of thought and the matching of thought with the auditors and the senior management. At least there is an agreement and there is a disagreement. Okay, this is an issue where we have a disagreement on opinion.
Sure.
So let's have one quick set of questions again. One last, I'll ask one question, probably Divji can ask one more. The one very important thing that you called out is asking the right questions. So while at a senior level, for example, a person like you may have that ability to ask the right question. How do you inculcate this ability to ask the right questions in your team members?
So, since there are two perspectives. First, I need to ask the right question to them so that I understand what they understanding or not. Second thing is, see, I involve my team in each and everything. So, so they are part of the discussion. In fact, we also do our daily team huddles. We discuss the various issues. If I ask the right question, then they are in a position to ask the right questions with them. At the same time, I also encourage them to ask questions to me. And in fact, I ask them, please give me some differences of opinion so that I know I'm on the right path.
I think one last question to you, Manoj. As you rightly said, this business is all about customer perspectives, customer preferences, the feel that the customer gets, because they can go anywhere and buy anything. So how do you, in your organization, measure customer satisfaction? And does Internal get into looking at the effectiveness of that mechanism and how does it work? Because it's all about customers, you said, there's entire presentation.
Customer is God.
Yeah.
See, we measure the customer feedback at number of time and number of places. So when a customer visits, so what is the treatment a customer gets? So we do mystery audits. So this mystery audit is managed by the marketing, and we get a view that who is the top performing and the bottom performing store so that we can understand. Our chairman says if our showroom people, if they are not focusing on customer, that means that they are going to give us problem in the future. So if we receive customer issues, customer feedback that we are not getting proper service, we try to see link it up with other measures, other monitoring measures that we do for the stores. Then customer, after every sale, the customer get a link where they can submit their feedback on that sale. We are present on all the popular social media channel where customer can go and give feedback. It can be complaint, it can be the compliments. All such issues get consolidated. We have an external agency which consolidate all these things and give a unified view to our customer care team who goes through the same, review it and give appropriate say feedback to the customer comment, or take that up and discusses with the internal stakeholders. Our management, they are also present on the social media. So if in rare cases, if customer wants Yeah, even if a vendor wants, they can reach out to them directly. And we believe that if some external stakeholder is raising certain issues, so they are facing some challenges, whether it is right or wrong, but they are facing some challenges. So we need to evaluate that what we need to do to ensure that the challenges can get removed and customer become a lifelong customer.
Right.
Now, from internal audit perspective, whenever any campaign is being run with the marketing, with customer care, we look at the effectiveness of the same, and if the measure has been defined, great. If it is not been defined, then we ask that, okay, guys, how do you tell me how you're going to monitor the effectiveness of your campaign? One. Secondly, in if you're already monitoring it, then what you are doing to improve the effectiveness of this campaign further.
Perfect, perfect, Manoj. I think this is so internal audit does get involved at the pre and the post stage. Great.
Yes, yes.
For customer care.
So as expected, Manoj, you've really, stuck to your time, and you've really downloaded, I can use that word, lots of information. Who better than Metro Brands understands that one size doesn't fit all? Being a footwear company, I'm sure your whole edifice of your business is that one size doesn't fit all. You've inculcated this particular philosophy right through in your internal audit function, which is very clearly spelling out in the work that you do. You made some very brilliant points, Manoj, and the attempt here is only to summarize to the extent that I can physically do that, the wonderful learnings, so that it is again there at a very concise place. You spoke about the three lines of defense and how you're making an attempt to kind of blur the three lines of defense, and to the extent that these lines are, they need to exist, but they also should exist seamlessly, and you have demonstrated this pretty well in that wonderful slide that you showed. You spoke about internal audit, risk management. You spoke about IFC, scanning the environment for changes. I think this is a super lesson that all of us can get so far as internal auditing is concerned, in a multiple channel, multiple different kinds of products that you have, different distribution channels. So I think scanning the environment is a very beautiful example that you gave out. Pre-post, with Dipji also alluded in one of his questions, pre-post or implementation plans of new policies, processes, systems. And it's always good for internal auditing to get into, into the new processes or new systems at the early stage itself, rather than be the policeman who comes and catches the person after the signal. So this has come out well. Your concepts of pre-audit, your compliance reviews, and I can tell you that in a retail store, as is in other aspects of other businesses as well, but compliance is always a very important aspect for carrying on the businesses. Your wonderful points that you made on the conflict of interest reviews was simply brilliant. The slide on philosophies, which Dipji also mentioned, was a real gem, if you ask me. No surprises, nimble-footed, not be complacent, years on the ground. I think this is another beautiful gem that came out in this today's 45-minute discussion. That keep your ears on the ground. Not only ask questions, but ask the right questions. And you demonstrated this, that even in your team, you allow your team members to ask you the questions, the right questions. And you always want to have contradictory opinions, because it's very true that if both of us have the same opinion, then only one person is required. So you demonstrated this too good. Customer is the king, right from the days of Gandhi, who said that, the customer is we exist because of the customer, and so that has also come out very well. Trust but verify. Very nice to see that Metro Brands, our internal audit function is fully empowered, and you have a continuous monitoring system which talks about, to make sure that everything is going on well. Your comparison with fashion designers, that is trying to be not trying, making sure that we are very contemporary, we are very, very topical. We are talking about the present and not talk about old fashions and things like that is another very powerful comparison that you made. You also said that with power comes responsibility. And this is very true in all aspects of life, that you just can't have one, you can't just see one side of the power and enjoy the power, but with that comes responsibility. You also said one very important thing, that please take the first step. I remembered of a story of a person by going to the church every day and saying, church, temple, mosque, whatever, going every day and saying, oh God, please give me a lottery, please make me win a lottery. God wanted to help that person. And then one day, the God tells him, at least buy a ticket. So this guy goes to the temple or to the church or to the mosque and says that, let me win a lottery. Arey Salah, at least buy the ticket, no, first.
Take the first step.
Yeah, take the first step. So when you told me that, I just remembered this wonderful incident, that you must take the first step, whatever the step may be. Take a cautious step, but do take the first step. Your lessons on the LPA, the loss prevention activities, which is you run concurrently or which is run concurrently, and so many other examples you gave of comparing the PAN numbers and the GST numbers, and the mystery audit, because in retail, I guess the mystery audit is another one of the very important aspects which is there in a retail. So I really felt that I have come back to my Reliance retail days, and which I always feel when I speak to you, Manoj. And thank you very much. I'm sure that I captured most of what you said, and we'll leave it to hearing the audio again, number of times, again and again, to actually get the essence completely of what you said. Thank you very much, Manoj. You've been wonderful. You stuck to time, and doing this on a Saturday morning is one of the best starts of the weekend for me, and I'm sure for Dibji as well. Dibji, last word is always yours.
Thank you very much, Manoj. I cannot add anything. Satish has so beautifully, concluded this session by, putting it all together. But a beautiful session, and the slide again repeating, the slide on philosophy, a gem of a slide. So, thank you very much. A wonderful presentation, Manoj. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.